Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well and staying at your homes. Well, students, today you have your chapter test of the chapter How, When and Where at 10:30 a.m., right? So I hope you all have prepared well and that you all will be able to appear for the test. Try to attempt all the questions within the time band given, and also be in a place where there is proper internet connectivity. Well, students, today before starting the class, I am going to give you all a brief recapitulation to what we did in our last class. Well, in our last class, we came across one very important term, that is the nabobs. Nabobs means the anglicized or the English version of the word nawab. We all know what nawab is. Nawab is someone who has huge power and wealth. So, the British, after being appointed as the Diwan of Bengal, they had access to all the vast resources of Bengal. So they started making all their expenses by using these revenues of Bengal. Not only that, they made a huge amount of wealth. They even made a huge fortune during their stay in India. So those company officials who made a huge amount of wealth and fortune during their stay in India are referred to as nabobs. We also came across the topic of how the British gradually started expanding their territory. So the British appointed residents in the Indian states to so that they can interfere in the internal affairs. Not only that, they even introduced an alliance system known as the subsidiary alliance. So under that system, the Indian rulers were not allowed to have their own independent armed forces. They were required to keep British army in their armed forces. Not only that, the Indian rulers were also required to pay a certain sum of money for the maintenance of these subsidiary forces. Meanwhile, the British saw the emergence of one very brave and courageous warrior in Mysore, Tipu Sultan. The British had fear of being crushed by Tipu Sultan and his father Hyder Ali because they were very powerful and courageous. So the British fought 4 wars with Tipu Sultan and his father. Unfortunately, in the 4th war, Tipu Sultan was defeated and he was also killed while protecting his capital, that is Seringapatam. After that, Mysore was also brought under the system of subsidiary alliance. So students, this is what we discussed in our last class. So our today's topic of discussion shall be war with the Marathas. That means today we shall come to know how the British, after crushing Tipu Sultan and after taking over Mysore, they went on to expand their territory over the Maratha land as well. How they dreamt of defeating or crushing the Maratha powers. So students, let's begin with our today's class. War with the Marathas. Students, this topic shall enable us to understand how the British was able to crush the Maratha power and how they were able to establish their power over there. Also students, this topic shall make us aware about the consequence or the effects of what happened after the Marathas were defeated by the British. So these are the learning objectives of our today's class. So students, after defeating or annexing Mysore and its capital Seringapatam, the British now had eyes on the Maratha land, that is Pune. They wanted to destroy the Maratha power, and instead of that, they wanted to establish their power over there. So this is mainly because of the fact that the British came to know that the Marathas eventually lost their dominance or power after they were being defeated in the 3rd war of Panipat. So students, the 3rd war of Panipat was fought on 14th of January 1761, and this battle was fought between the Marathas and a coalition or a combination of the king of Afghanistan, that is Ahmad Shah Durrani, and two other Muslim allies, that means, and two other Muslim partners, that is the Rohilla Afghans and Sujaud-Dawla, who was the Nawab of Oudh. So that means all these three powers joined hands to defeat the Marathas. So in this way, in the third battle of Panipat, the Marathas were defeated, and this led them to gradually lost their dominance or power. So the British thought that this is a good chance for them to defeat the Marathas again, because now the Marathas were comparatively weaker than before. So students, what happened? Since the Marathas had become weaker, they were divided into various states like the Sindhyas, then the Holkars, the Gaikwads and Bhosle. That means the entire Maratha kingdom was divided into various smaller states like the Sindhya, Holkar, Gaikwad and Bhosle. And all these states were administered by some chiefs. Chief means some officials who governed these states. And students, these chiefs were in turn under the control of the Maratha ruler, that is the Peshwa. So all these chiefs were under the supervision of the Maratha administrative officer or the Maratha ruler, that is Peshwa. So students, during the Maratha rule, there were two very powerful Maratha soldiers. One was Mahaji Sindhya and the other one was Nana Fadnis. So students, this is how the British gradually started dreaming of crushing the Maratha power. So different wars between the British and the Marathas were fought. So various Anglo-Maratha wars were fought. The first Anglo-Maratha war was fought in between 1775 to 1782. So students, in this war, none of the parties, that is neither the British and nor the Marathas were victorious. So they ultimately had to end the war by signing a treaty kind of an agreement. Okay, so in this war, none of the parties emerged as victorious. So the war ended with the Treaty of Salbai. So in that treaty, they agreed that they shall no longer fight any war and they shall end the war then and there. But after that, students, another war took place between the Marathas and the British. That is the Second Anglo-Maratha War. The Second Anglo-Maratha War was fought in between the years 1803 to 1805. In this war, the British were able to capture some part of the Maratha land. That means they were able to annex or capture Orissa and some part of Delhi and Agra. That means they were able to capture Orissa and the northern part of the Yamuna river, that is Agra and Delhi. Finally, students, the third Anglo-Maratha war took place in the year 1817 to 1819. And unfortunately, in this third war, the British was able to crush Maratha power totally. So this third war is also known as Pindari War. So in this third war, the British was able to defeat the Marathas. They were able to crush Maratha power. So what happened after this third Anglo-Maratha war? The Peshwa, who was the main Maratha ruler or the main Maratha administrative officer, the Peshwa was removed from his position and he was sent away to Bithur. Okay, Bithur is a place in Kanpur. So he was sent away to Bithur and he was also given some kind of pension. That means he was completely crushed and he no longer remained the Peshwa. Rather, he was sent away from there to Bithur and rather he was given just some amount of pension. So what happened? The company could now have complete control over the territories which were at the south of Vindhyas. So this is how the British was able to defeat the Marathas as well, and this is how they were able to establish their power over various areas. So students, this is all about this topic. So the highlights of today's class are the British desiring to crush Maratha power. So what happened? The British, after annexing or after capturing Seringapatam and Mysore, the British now had eyes on the Maratha land. They wanted to crush Maratha power. This is because they came to know that the Marathas have become weaker after they were being defeated in the third war of Panipat. So the third war of Panipat was fought on 14th of January 1761, and which took place between the Marathas and a collision of the Afghanistan king, that is Ahmad Shah Durrani, and two other Muslim allies. So after the third war of Panipat, the Marathas became weak, and so the British took a chance of this and they wanted to crush the Maratha power totally. So what happened? 3 Anglo-Maratha wars were fought. In the first war, no party could win the war. That means the war ended with a treaty. That means both the parties signed a treaty. That treaty was known as the Treaty of Salbai, where they agreed that no more wars shall take place between them. But after that, students, another war was fought between the British and the Marathas. That was in the year 1803 to 1805. In the second war, the British was able to capture Orissa and the territories towards the north of Yamuna River, that is Delhi and Agra. In the third war, which took place in 1817 to 1819, the British was able to completely crush Maratha power. So this war is also known as Pindari War, and in this war, the British was able to defeat the Peshwa, and he was sent to Bithur and he was given some kind of a pension. And after that, the British could now have complete control over the territories to the south of Vindhyas. So students, I hope you all are clear. In case you have any doubt, please contact me. You can call me or you can even message me. So students, on this note, let's end today's today's class here. Okay then, see you all in your next class. Thank you. Stay safe and have a nice day.